obviously the homestand hasn't gone exactly how you wanted, but how good would it be to close it out with a win and try to build some momentum before heading out on a lengthy road trip?
More importantly, it would be important to get a win for BD's birthday. I think that would be the most important thing right now for him. But ultimately, yes, happy birthday, man. It would be great to get a win on this homestand before we head out west, or out to Milwaukee and then Houston and then all over the. But it'll be good for us.
I don't care about my birthday.
We do. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm sure you saw the last 2-minute report from the other night. I know we don't want to rehash all that, but in general, what do you as a head coach and coaches in general think about the last 2-minute report and what it does?
It's interesting. Not to rehash it too much, but there's a level of frustration that goes into it, but there's also a level of understanding that you weren't wrong in those instances. And I think those are two plays that actually were the game. And so you look at it and you can't change it. You can't do anything about it. There's nothing you can do to control it. So you have to move on from it and kind of go from there.
Sorry, I sunk the mood like that. No,
it's good. It's still your birthday.
How's Cole doing?
Cole's good.
Is he good to go?
He's good to go tonight.
Just kind of with all the close games that you've had, how important is it to get a win, just to kind of have that feeling again, knowing that you've been knocking on the door. It's been maybe one stretch of the game or one play or whatever it is that have cost you a lot of these games at home. How important is it just to get that feeling of winning and feel like you're building momentum back in the process?
I think it's big for us. I think it's big for this group. Now, not just us being in close games and getting the experience there, because it helps as we go down the line, but also understanding to get on the other side of it. I think that's very important as well.
Does it feel like it's just kind of a ball you got to knock down and then the ball's rolling? Does
Yes.
it feel like it's just
Yeah.
you need that?
I believe so. I believe this group is that way. I believe the energy will be that way. The spirit is that way. You're doing a lot of right things. We talk about the third quarters. You talk about all the little things that you can clean up, and that's every game. But I think with the energy that this group keeps bringing, I think that's going to be very important.
Will Cole start tonight then?
Yes.
Then the rest of the same starters, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Obviously, Corey filled in for him last game. I don't know if we actually asked you directly just about what you thought of his performance. How did you feel that he kind of ran the offense? And even if he has to come off the bench in some sort of capacity tonight, what are you looking for from him?
Just continued poise, his veteran leadership. I think get guys in the right spot, understanding where we need to be. Just the energy that he brings, his ability to push the pace up the floor. I think that's so key. But just he brings a veteran energy, a veteran experience, and wherewithal of what's going on in the game.
Tristan, excuse me. Tristan's minutes have been kind of up and down here of late, but he stepped in the last game with 12 points, hit some three-pointers. Just what have you thought about his ability to stay ready, no matter if he plays 6 minutes or 26 minutes?
I mean, he's been a pro this entire year, doing whatever's asked of him. Early on in the year when guys went down, he goes into the starting lineup. Then when guys come back, it changes a little bit. But he's been a true pro all year long. And for a rookie, I think that says a lot about his maturity, his coaches that work with him, helping him stay ready, but to his work ethic as well.
Coach, I'm going to paint with a rather broad brush here, so just bear with me. When you guys collectively are evaluating young, talented players, coming into the organization, do you guys have a specific regimen or schedule as to their development and kind of a pace as to where they need to be and you expect them to be?
That's a really good question. I do believe what we continue to do, and Jeff and his group, they look at all things. And part of that is evaluating them from where they see themselves. And so helping them understand what they think when they come in, what they think they can be, the player.
Okay.
The player, we see what they think they can be, and then can we mirror that with where we think we should be and how we can move together in that process. I think that's very important.
Thank you for that clarification. And then just to follow up with that, with AB and Jet, guys who are a little bit more seasoned now, have a little bit more familiarity with your system, their roles, obviously, and what they're asked to do kind of change night in and night out at times. Would you say to where the evaluation comes in and where they need to be, they're up to date? They're maybe ahead of schedule or maybe a little bit behind the eight ball. How do you kind of evaluate that with two young guys who definitely need those minutes and reps?
Yeah, I think it's in this year, it's been kind of tricky to evaluate exactly what it is, because in the beginning of the year you have guys that can slot into a specific role at a specific time, and then when the guys go out, you're asked to do more or a little less than what was tasked of you before. So I think it's hard to evaluate that specific because of the fluctuation of what's been going on.
Talked with Corey this morning kind of just about what he's seen from Paolo and Franz over this year, with this being his first year in the organization. And one of the things he talked about was just how impressed he was with their feel of the game and their IQ and kind of how they handle things. Obviously, the way the offense as a whole is playing probably hasn't been where you guys want it to be for the entire year, but when you kind of just evaluate them as third and fourth year guys that lead that offense, what impresses you and how have they kind of developed over the course of this year?
I think what Corey said is completely accurate. I think their feel for the game, their feel for what's going on with each other, the way that they're seeing different defenses, how they can manipulate it, what they can find, what they can see, their maturity level on the whole front as leaders, being able to step into these roles, knowing what's demanded of them, and taking it all in stride. I think their work ethic, their care for each other, their care for the team, their care for the game is at a different level for two young men of that age.
Josh, how did you know it was Jason's birthday?
I don't know. I'm kidding. I have good sources.